Happy Monday. Happy beginning of the trading week. Hope everyone's doing all right. I was sort of dreading making a video like this. As you guys know, I was about 1%, 0.8, 0.7% away from passing my account. And last week, I shit you not, I think I took about 12 break-even trades. A couple of those were running $300-400 profit. I was so close to passing the funded, but no cigar, whatever, it's not a big deal. So I was very excited to go into this week. And honestly, I think I was just a bit too eager and feeling a little bit too cocky to pass this funded. And I got smoked. I got smoked today, and I have no one to blame but myself. I'm not going to come up with stupid excuses. I kind of abandoned my trading plan a little bit today. So I just want to go over the day, what went wrong, how I can improve, and sort of just talk about some of the trades I took here. So again, going into the day, one thing that I sort of neglected, to be honest with you, was the higher time frame. Usually I'm pretty good at analyzing the higher time frame. So today, this is what I had marked up here. I had this marked up going into the day, and I had this low marked up. So I was looking for a potential reversal after we swept this low. We also had a big breaker block here on the 1 hour chart. So I wanted to see how price was going to react from this zone. So hopping onto the one, as you can see, we drop, we take that low, that hourly low, we respect this bearish breaker up here. So we drop, we sweep a lot of liquidity, we take the 930 low, we take the hourly low that we have marked up, and then again we tap into this 1 hour breaker here. This 1 hour breaker inside of fair value gap, so we tap into that unicorn. And I'm looking for long opportunities, man. I'm looking for long. So the first long I took was this right here. Again, we sweep the 1 hour low. We tap into that unicorn. So I decided to try to take this trade right here. This was the first setup, and I hopped in on the retest. And on top of this, I thought this was a great entry because we had LR. We had low resistance liquidity building up here. So I thought that this would eventually get swept. But I was wrong, man. I was very, very wrong. I got smoked. Anyway, so this was the first trade I took. We took this internal high here. I was up about 10 points on this trade. So as soon as we took this high, as soon as we took that high there, I put my stop to break even. Got stopped out at break even, no big deal. Now this is where shit gets kind of squirrely. This is where I fucked up big time. So we, again, sweep these lows. We have a lot of displacement, which isn't a good sign. If we wanted to continue going up, I feel like we would have done it right here after sweeping the lows. So we get a lot more displacement to the downside. We leave this very obvious fair value gap here. And we have these relative equal highs above. So again, not the cleanest trade. The risk to reward on this was not that great. And I think I was just, again, way too eager to try to pass this account. I always preach patience. And now I feel like a bit of a hypocrite, man. I'm not going to lie, because I was not patient at all today. And I felt like the market owed me something because last week was basically a break-even week, and I was so close to passing this account 5 or 6 times. So I just felt like the market owed me something, which is a horrible mindset to have. The market doesn't owe you shit. So anyway, I hopped in here, and I thought that this was for sure going to get hit. This was about a 1-to-1. See, like the risk to reward on this just doesn't make sense. This would have been the first break-even point, and then I was hoping that we would potentially sweep this LR, so it would have been 1 to 3. But this was my first break-even point here. I thought for sure that we'd at least take this little group of equal highs here. So we get a close above this fair value gap, inversing it. We get a small push to the upside here. for about 11 points, and then we reverse, and as soon as we close back below this gap, I decided to cut the trade. I'll show all these executions here, but this was the first big loss on the day. This loss was about $500, so that put my account back to just above 2,000 in profit. And then this trade, this is the trade that sort of fucked everything for me. This is a trade I should have never taken, especially looking at this in hindsight. This was just a flaming piece of crap here. So this was the trade idea. And again, I was just banking so hard on these equal lows up here, which is a horrible idea. They were not even that clean, to be honest with you. I saw that we had a little bit of LR here. We had relative equal highs right here. So again, I was just not able to change my bias for whatever reason today. And that is something you need to be able to do to be a successful trader. You need to be able to flip your bias. We were so bearish. We were dropping like crazy. And I was just not willing to look for shorts today, which is ridiculous. Anyway, so as you can see here, we sweep these lows. We're still somewhat holding this point of interest here, this unicorn on the higher time frame. And we displace below these lows, sweeping these lows, and then we come back up and inverse this fair value gap here. So I decided to enter long. And my stop originally was this swing low here, as I was targeting these equal highs, which is about a 1 to 1 to 3 risk to reward. So I was happy with that. And then we chop around a little bit. We get this push up, and at this point I'm thinking this trade is going to work out, and then we immediately reverse. Now what I should have done is probably moved my stop to below this order block here, as it's sort of the last form of defense. So the fact that price disrespects this means that price is probably going to want to keep dropping. But I didn't, and I decided to hold. I held for whatever reason. And this is why trading is so tough, man, because all it takes is one day of not following your rules to fuck up, weeks of progress. And that's what happened here. This trade I shouldn't have taken to begin with. This fair value gap is not obvious at all. Yes, we have some decent targets above here, but this doesn't necessarily tell me that we're ready to go back up. We inverse a tiny little gap, big deal. Anyway, I was in the trade and I was just so confident that we were going to reverse at some point. So I decided to hang on to it. Like a fucking idiot. And we dropped. I think we cut the trade like somewhere down here. So we held on to this losing trade for about 44 points, which is just ridiculous because at that point there's no game plan. We've already failed to hold a couple of bullish PD arrays. And then on top of this, one thing that I completely missed going into the day, which is crazy because usually I'm very good at spotting data highs and data lows. They're always such a popular target for Sven and I. As I'm holding onto this losing trade and just basically praying for it to reverse, I noticed that we had data lows from Friday. And as soon as I saw these data lows here, they were untapped. I immediately cut the trade because I knew that that's what we were going to be trending towards. And I was a little bit frustrated that I did not mark them up at the beginning of the day because it would have sort of changed the outcome of the day for me, I believe. It's very tough to try to look for long opportunities when you know you have an untapped data low wick below because that's always such a powerful draw on liquidity. So if I just woke up a bit earlier, took a couple more minutes to do my analysis on the higher time frame, that's something I would have saw, and that's probably something that would have saved me from taking two of these big losses here. So that's a little bit annoying, but what can you do? And then as soon as we sweep these data, well, what can you do? You can respect your rules, I guess. Fuck. Anyway, so water under the bridge. At this point, we had about $500 drawdown left in the account. So one more $500 loss, and I would have blew the account. And I told myself I wasn't going to take any more trades, but this setup was just too crispy to pass up. And look at this, man. Look at this. As soon as we take these data lows here, we immediately reverse. Now, if I was patient and just looked for shorts to those data lows or just waited for the data lows to be swept if I marked them up in the morning, we would have been golden. Shitty days happen. They've been happening a lot less frequently, so I'm happy about that. It's a small bump in the road, but what can you do? It was at least nice to finish this day off with a little dub. So again, very clean trade. We sweep the data lows, and as soon as we sweep data lows, you can expect a reversal of some sorts. So bang, super clean target. We sweep that target. We do not have much displacement. So this shows that we are failing to want to go lower here. So again, if this candle looks something like this, then maybe we want to continue to, let's say, this low right here, for example. But we don't. We barely displace under these lows, showing that we could have a potential reversal. We put in this massive fair value gap here, and then we close above with this candle. This is when I hopped in the trade. Right here. Bang, stop below there, and I held to the 5-minute fair value gap right here. So this was the only dub I took on the day. I believe it was about a $500-600 win, putting us at about a 2% loss on the day. Can't stress too much, man. You just got to journal, figure out what went wrong, and get better for the next session. So hopefully tomorrow's better for me, and hopefully we can get closer to passing this account. And that is Monday summed up. Follow your rules, man. Follow your rules.